Hey guys, this is Angie at Chicken Scratch. This is the project we're making today, and this is my annual coaster calendar. I have these every year, so the calendar file is available for a small fee over on my website. You can print it and use it as much as you would like, even make projects for craft fairs. The only thing you can't do is actually share my PDF. That is not allowed, okay? I also have the rectangle coasters over on my website for sale, so you can get both of those. So I'm going to show you how to cut the calendar. It's the same as every year, so if you've already watched the videos, you've already made these, you don't have to re-watch it. Nothing has changed. But that's the first thing I'm going to do, is actually cut the calendar. I am using the retired Stampin' Up! Guillotine trimmer, and I'm going to start with the January sheet. I'm going to turn it here on the side so that January is over here. And I'm going to cut this at 10. Then I'm going to turn it so that January's here, and I'm going to cut it at 4 1/4. I'm going to turn January upside down, and I'm going to cut at 3 3/8. Then I'm going to turn January so that it's up, and I'm going to cut it at 3 1/4. Then I'm going to cut at 2 3/4, and that's my January. Now I'm going to take March, and I want to trim it just a tad. So March is over here, and I'm going to place it at the 1 7/8. I mean 7 1/8. Yeah, 7 1/8. And then March is going to go over here, and I'm going to cut it at, let's see, I've already forgotten what I was doing, 2 3/4. Okay. Now we're going to take May and cut it at 4 1/4, and then turn it around so that it measures 2 3/4. Okay, so here's May, March, and January. All those look good. Now we're going to start with the other side of that first sheet. We're going to have February at the top, and we're going to cut this at 3 3/8. And you want to make sure that it's straight at the top and at the bottom, because I find myself sometimes angling it by accident. So be mindful of what trimmer you're using. So 3 3/8, and then turn it and cut it at 3 1/4. And then cut this at 2 3/4. Okay, so that's February. Now we're going to turn April so that it's over here, and we're going to line it up at the 7 1/8 and trim just a tad, and then cut this at 2 3/4. June is going to go on the right. We're going to line it up at the 4 1/4 and then cut it at 2 3/4. I normally have my cutting instruction sheet here in front of me, and I left it over on the other side of the room, so I'm doing this all by memory, but I have done these forever. So same thing, July is going to go over here on the right side. I'm going to cut this at 10 inches, and then I'm going to cut this sheet in half at 4 1/4. I'm going to turn July upside down, and I'm going to cut this at 3 3/8. See, I already had that one somewhat crooked. And then I'm going to turn it at 3 3/4 and cut. So July is going to go over here. I'm going to cut at 2 3/4. Put September over on the right side, cut at 7 1/8, and then turn it and cut it at 2 3/4. November, we want to trim at 4 1/4, and then turn and cut at 2 3/4. Our last one, August, is at the top. We're going to trim it to measure 3 3/8. I'm trying to make sure I've got it lined up at the bottom as well. And then turn it upside down and cut it at 3 1/4. Then cut August at the 2 3/4. And then we're going to take October, line it up on the right, and we're going to trim at 7 1/8. I keep wanting to say 1. So that's place October here and cut at 2 3/4. December goes on the right, cut at 4 1/4, and then cut at 2 3/4. Okay, so let's get all of our calendar pieces in here. So we have December and November, October, September, August, July, June. Where's my May? May, April, March, February, and January. Okay, we can put this back over here now. So these look great. Just gonna set that aside. And this time, so I used the new Granny Apple Green ribbon. I just couldn't wait to use that stuff. And I used Lemon Lime Twist of the Designer Series paper because I wanted you guys to see that you can use the Granny Apple Green with the Lemon Lime Twist. It's a little different, but I like it together. So the same thing, I'm going to actually use purple this time. I'm going to use the Gorgeous Grape ribbon, but I'm using it with Highland Heather because I want you guys to see that you can use the ribbon on both Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather. And I showed that in my live video the other day, but I know not everyone is a fan of the live videos. Okay, so I've got 2 rectangle coasters, and what we'll do is I'm going to get my craft mat here. We want to cover the front and the back of all of them. I want to save my Designer Series paper. So I'm only going to use the DSP on the front, and then I'm just going to use solid cardstock for the other sides, and those measure 5 3/8 by 3 7/8. Okay, so I may fast forward some of this because we have to do the front and the back of 4, okay? It's actually 2, but 4 sides. So I'm using my liquid glue. This works great on coaster projects. Okay, I'm just going to lift this up. Okay, and the great thing about using this is that if you place it on there crooked, you usually can slide it really quickly to straighten it up. So if you were using any other adhesive, that might not be the case. Okay, so now I just want to take my bone folder, and this kind of gets the adhesive, if there's any bubbles in there. Just be careful because if you get glue on here, you want to make sure you get that off. Okay, the next step is you want to use some gnarly scissors, like old scissors. You don't want to use your really good ribbon scissors because it's going to get all gunked up with adhesive. So you can tell these are I call them my gnarly scissors. And I'm just going to trim all the extra of the DSP off. And then I'm going to sand the edge. And we don't sell the sanding blocks anymore, but you can just get a nail buffer right at your store, or they sell them on Amazon. Okay, so I'm going to take that and I'm just going to sand down. You don't want to sand up because it will peel the project back up, okay? Okay, so there's the first side. So now we're going to turn it over and we're going to add the solid cardstock. And you notice I'm putting the adhesive this time on the coaster. It doesn't matter, you can do it either way, so that's why I'm switching it up, just to show you. Now if you were using a different adhesive, be careful. You might not want to use that on the coaster. It could peel it back up, okay? So here we go again. Same thing, I'm going to take my bone folder. I do always keep like a baby wipe or a dishcloth handy so that if I get any extra glue, I can wipe it off. Again, the gnarly scissors. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish this one. I'm not going to record the second one. It's just like this one. So I will be back with both coasters ready to add the calendar and to add the ribbon, okay? Okay, so I'm done sanding all of those, and we are ready to punch the holes for our ribbons. You can see here. And what I've done is I've taken a piece of copy paper, just printer paper, and cut it to measure the same exact measurement of the coaster. And so first I fold it in half, and then I fold it in half, and then in half again. And then the same way in the other direction. So fold it in half, and half, and half, and then in half again. And that gave me these cross points. And I took my Crop-A-Dile and I punched a hole right where it goes. Well, and I always have to use my paper piercer to get the paper out of my Crop-A-Dile. Okay, so I gotta take that now and get that old paper out. It's just never ending. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is just turn this over because I don't want to trace the circle on the front side just in case there's a little bit of pencil mark left. So I'm gonna turn it over and then take my pencil, and then I'm gonna take the wide circle, the larger circle, and punch the hole. Well, that's usually doesn't happen. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. We have a love-hate relationship with the Crop-A-Dile. Sadly, we don't sell it anymore, but it's such a valuable tool. I don't know that I could live without it. Okay, I do have extras, so just in case. Same thing on the back coaster. I'm just going to trace the circle, or trace the hole there. You can get these on Amazon as well. I do have the link if you need it. I know a lot of you guys have already made these projects. You make them every year with me, so you probably already have a Crop-A-Dile. Okay, now we have our holes for our ribbon. We'll go ahead and add that. Like I said, this is the Gorgeous Grape. I'm going to start from the back side. Oh, I need to get this at a point too. This ribbon's a little bit smaller, a little thinner. Ideally, I normally like really big ribbon, but that Granny Apple Green ribbon is pretty much the biggest ribbon that we have right now. Maybe there'll be some bigger stuff in the holiday catalog that comes in, when does it come? September. I was starting to tie a bow. I don't think it's going to look right with a bow, so yeah, I'm just going to tie a little knot. That's what I get for talking. Oh, I hate to waste so much. I got to start over for just a second. Sorry about that. Okay. You could use two pieces, you know. I think I've done that before on one of my coasters, is use two pieces so that it's a bigger bow or a bigger knot, whatever. Again, I'm going to start from the back side. Yeah, I might have to remake this and use two pieces of ribbon. I think we're at the point now too where I can go ahead and say, head over to my website, leave a comment on this post. I'm going to give this calendar away to someone, okay? I think I need to make the ribbon nicer. So here's what we're going to do. Right in the middle of this video, I'm going to change this, and we're just going to see if we like it. So sorry about the lane swerve, but let's see. I think that should be a good amount. We may not like it, and if we don't, then we'll go back to the other way. But I just want to see if I like this, because the ribbon is a little thin for me. Now, of course, I won't be able to get it threaded. Oh, there we go. I spoke too soon. Well, I already think I'm gonna like it. What do you think? I think so. Oh, I hate that I'm wasting so much, but Yeah, I like it better with 2 strands. So I'll probably pause the video and do the other side as well. Yeah, very cute. Okay, so now let's add this calendar before I keep y'all here all day. You're going to need another piece of Highland Heather that measures 3.5 by 3. And we're going to do the same thing. We took a piece of copy paper. The copy paper measures the same as the calendar, which is 3.25 by 2 3/4. We fold it in half, folded it in half, and half, and half again, and again. And then here's the real ticket. So see, I fold it in half. On this one, we made the circle right in the crosshair, in between where the 2 lines meet. Like if you look on this side, we made the hole right there. This time, we actually, and I say we, I don't have a mouse in my pocket, it was me. So what I did was, here's the score line here, here's the score line here, here's the score line here. I did it in between this score line and this score line. So I actually folded it again, just like that. See? And hopefully that's not confusing to you, but just remember, put your circle, your hole, in between the first score line and the second score line up here at the top, okay? Yeah, and if you need me to film another video, let me know. It's actually not hard. It's just right dead center. And you can do it just like that, okay? So I've got my hole, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take one of these. So I'll take January, and I'm going to put this on the back. Actually, I don't want January. I want December. What am I doing? Back up for just a second. So I'm going to take December, because I'm going to do all of these at once, okay? Since I have the Crop-A-Dial. If you have a different punch, you might not want to do all of them. Whoops. That is a very poor circle. If it's crooked, then we're going to know it's because of my poor tracing ability. Let's see if we can start over. I'm stressed out because my husband's home. He's upstairs. I've heard the chair moving like 100 times, so I always get stressed out when someone's upstairs and I'm filming. Okay, now I'm going to take these, make sure it's at the top, yep, and I'm going to take my Crop-A-Dial. This time I'm going to use the little hole punch, and there we go. Now the same thing over here on this side. Now we want to center this on the Highland Heather cardstock. And we're going to punch that hole again. I need to make sure I can see it though. Ruh-roh. Okay. You could take a binder clip if you want. Oh, it looks like I made that hole lower. Grr. Okay, just yeah, I made that hole lower. Oh well, I'm not going to start over because, well, I could actually, but I'm not going to. I have another calendar here beside me, but it's kind of hard to keep things straight and talk, and you know. These are our new brads that we have in the annual catalog. Yay! We're so happy to have brads again. When I saw them in the catalog, I was like, yes, I can make my coaster calendars again. I still made them last year. I just had to alter how I make them. Okay, I'm sorry, this side's higher than this side. I think I did the same thing on the other one. So just kind of make sure that if you're anal about that, then make sure your lines are, you might want to get a ruler. I always say I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. Okay, so I'm just going to take some dimensionals, and don't forget, head over to my website, leave a comment to enter to win. For those of you that want to stick around, I'm going to fix this ribbon really quickly so that I can show you how it's really going to look. Otherwise it will drive me crazy. Yeah, so here's the two. Super cute, right? But let's fix this ribbon. It definitely needs two pieces. And no, I will not be throwing that away. I will be saving it for something else. There's all kinds of things you can make with your ribbon scraps. let's see, I want to angle the end, and then I need to cut this end. This is the hardest part right here, is just feeding that ribbon through the little hole. There we go. You can use your paper piercer if you want to. Ruh-roh, I don't think I gave myself enough room. Did I? Well, yeah, I did. Close though. I think I still need to clean up the ribbon, but for now it looks cute, right? Yeah, it does. Like I said, I could fiddle with ribbon forever. Okay, for those of you that stuck around, there it is. Whoops. Have a great day. Bye.